to my channel. It's Cherrien. I apologize for my voice today. I think my cold from last week may still be lingering in my throat. My voice sounds a little weird to me now. I don't know how it sounds to you guys, but it sounds really nasally. A while ago I showed you a few books that were on my potential summer reading list, and in that video I promised I would show you guys the finalized version of it, so here we are. Gonna be reading all of these, so yeah, my hands are gonna be pretty full from all these books. I just want to say a quick thanks to Notion for sponsoring a portion of this video. I've always been using Notion, always been using it to plan out my year, plan out my vision board and all that. And this year I've decided to do something new, which is to log all my summer reads into my Notions page. Because one of the reasons I read books is to sort of attempt to escape from reality a little bit. And during the summer, I am more prone to drawing negative energy, and I need an outlet to sort of escape from all that. So yeah, I just thought it'd be nice to remember the state I was in while reading a certain book, my headspace, the feelings, and all the emotions I felt throughout the read. So I've also made a little segment for that. And Notions has a new feature called Notion AI, which really helped with setting up this page. Normally I would have to manually set up all the little segments and all the little titles, but with Notion AI the setup is just instantly done, and you can also go back and tweak it a little bit. And I think this feature would be a bigger help to people who use Notions professionally. I only use my Notions for personal stuff like personal scheduling, journaling, content planning, and now as a reading log, but I do think that this new AI feature might be a bigger help to those of you who use it more professionally. I want to say thank you again to the Notion team for letting me try out this new feature. It has saved me a whole lot of time, and yeah. I know it's different for a lot of people. Some people like to go into books knowing the full background story of either the author or the characters and all that, but I don't. I just like that raw feeling of reading something for the first time. So all I know about these books is the author, a little bit about its reputation, and just parts of the contents of it. Other than that, I have little to no idea of what is actually contained in these books, so bear with me. The first one, I've already been reading this. It is The Other Side by Jennifer Higgie, and I am about a third in, and I expected to finish it this month so I can get started on the rest of the list during June. So a little mid-review or a third review of this particular book. On the cover it says A Journey into Women, Art, and the Spirit World. I thought it was going to be more leaning towards art, but up until this point she explains a whole lot more on the spirit world, which isn't a bad thing. Like, I am intrigued by it, but honestly speaking I don't know if I'm into that whole spiritual mojo dojo hocus pocus world. I don't know if I'm a believer, but she explains in this book, just because something's existence can't be proven does not mean it doesn't exist. And I completely agree with her and resonate with her on that logic, but still I don't know. Okay, so second book that I'll be reading come June is actually not here yet. I ordered it online because they were out at my local bookstore, so I had to have it shipped. So a little bummer. Essentially it is about this couple, this married couple who have a second place, a second home out in the countryside, I believe. And they decide to rent out that second place to artists from all around the world. So basically an Airbnb situation that houses artists. And since I am currently reading an essay about women in art, I thought that I would kind of continue on that artsy vibe. So that will be the kickstart to my summer reading. Up next, we have Breasts and Eggs by Mieko Kawakami. I've always wanted to read Kawakami's works, but don't know why I haven't, but I haven't. So this is my first time. Someone actually recommended I read Heaven, but since it is gonna be summer, I thought I'd start with Breasts and Eggs first and see how I like it. And if I do seem to like it later on during the year, I will definitely go and get Heaven. And what was really interesting about this book was Murakami's little review or impression of this book on the back. I know for a fact that Murakami's reputation with female depictions in his writing is not the best, so it was interesting to see what he thought of this particular book, especially since it is written by a female author and the female characters of this book are portrayed through the female perspective. So I thought it was really fun to see what he thought of that, and apparently he thought, I can never forget the sense of pure astonishment I felt when I first read Mieko Kawakami's Breasts and Eggs. Wonder what he meant by pure astonishment, but can't wait to find out. And I also thought that the fact that this whole book is set in a span of 8 years was pretty interesting as well. So yeah, can't wait to see how this turns out. So yeah, that was June. And on to July. Giovanni's Room. And I know I brought this with me to Hong Kong, so I should have gotten through this months ago, but here we are. See, I even have my little boarding ticket as a bookmark from that time. Aww. It is set in 1950s Paris, and it follows the story of two men in love, which for me kind of gave off Call Me By Your Name vibes, and continuing on from the Parisian vibes. One of Annie Ernaux's works, which obviously all her works are a classic, and I've explained this before, but whenever I read Annie Ernaux, I just feel so delicate, so feminine, so purely magical. And so I can't wait to be reading this during July. And you know July is Lana Del Rey season. Hot summer nights, mid-July, you know, those are the vibes. And so I thought Annie Ernaux goes perfectly, just works so seamlessly in with Lana that I just had to schedule this for July. Getting Lost is sort of like a journal entry from the time when she was having an affair with a younger married man. And it is basically a elongated version of her other book, Simple Passion. And I honestly thought Simple Passion was too short. I don't even think it has 100 pages, I'm not sure, but I don't remember it being that long, and it was just too short for my liking, and so I just had to get the longer version of it. Hopefully this will sustain me more this summer. And I know for a fact that I'm going to be listening to Lana's songs while reading this, so yeah, so excited with that. And depending on how quickly I finish those books, I might read another Annie Ernaux, and it is Exteriors. It's just random journal entries over the course of 7 years of her life in Paris, and it is apparently poignantly lyrical, chaotic, and strangely alive. If that isn't summer vibes, I don't know what is. August. If any of you have been in Korea or Seoul during the summer, you'd know that August is peak Korean summer. So I'm hoping to stay cool indoors with a good book during that time. So we are starting with Murakami. Probably should have read Norwegian Wood first for my first Murakami, considering that is his most critically acclaimed novel. I just wasn't really drawn to the storyline of Norwegian Wood, but this sounded really interesting, so yeah. And after I'm done with that, I had the feeling that I was gonna need a lighter, wittier, funnier pick-me-up, so the next on the list is Everything I Know About Love by Dolly Alderton. Out of all the summer books that I have on this current list, this is probably the most lighthearted one. For the last bits of summer, for the later half of August, I wanted to pick a lighter, fun read just to, you know, finish off the summer with a bang, finish off the season on a good note. So yeah, that was my full list. I hope I get through all the books that I have planned out, but if not, you know, oh well. I used to get really frustrated and kind of upset with myself if I didn't finish a book as quickly as I planned to, or if I went days on without reading a single page. I do still get a little frustrated at times when I feel that I am not keeping up with my reading. But you know, every time I start to feel myself a little stressed or frustrated from not reading and just a little disappointed in myself, I remind me that reading is a form of therapy for me, and books are an outlet for me to escape the stress from reality and from the real world. So me getting stressed out about reading is kind of stifling the whole point of why I enjoy reading in the first place. So yeah, I've been trying not to get too strict about how much and how many times a day I read. Thank you again for being here. Thank you for sitting through my long babbling. Hopefully you guys will read some of these books with me. If you do, let me know how it's going for you. If you happen to own any of these books, I think it'd be fun to maybe read them at the same time together. So leave a comment below if you plan on following along with me on my summer reading list. And I've also recently made a Goodreads, so I'll also have my Goodreads link down below so you can check out all the books that I've mentioned in this video. And I will see you in the next vlog. Bye!